Your past does not equal your future. If you're trying to break an addiction to sugar and carbs, overcome bad habits, or even improve your mood, Easy Willpower with Rena Greenberg can help you be at your absolute healthiest, mentally, physically, and emotionally, so you can look and feel better for the rest of your life.
3 steps to Easy Willpower is an effective and easy way to help you achieve the results that your heart longs for.
Rena is an author, and she is nationally board certified in biofeedback therapy and hypnotherapy. She has worked with more than 100,000 people in 75 medical centers to help them achieve dramatic weight loss.
It's time to stop beating yourself up and to start cheering yourself on.
Don't ask, what if it doesn't work? Ask, what if it does? Here's Rena Greenberg.
Welcome. Hi, my name is Rena Greenberg. I am so happy to be with you here today. I'm so happy to see you here. And I want to begin by congratulating you on your decision to live your life healthy, happy, energized, and at your ideal weight. Now, during this hour, I'm going to give you 3 easy steps to live the rest of your life at your absolute healthiest, mentally, physically, and emotionally, so you can look and feel better for the rest of your life. Now, if you're struggling, believe me, I know what you're going through. I can relate to that. I also struggled with my weight, with my health, and with a very severe sugar addiction. And what happened for me was that I got very sick at a young age. In fact, I was in my mid-20s. I was literally facing death. And it forced me to take a hard look at my life and make some very important changes. So I began to study health. I loved learning about all of it, nutrition, herbs, but the area of health that fascinated me the most was the power of the mind. I loved learning how we could tap into the power of the subconscious and literally change our lives. Yeah, so after I got healthier, I wanted to help others. And I went back to college and I got my degree in biopsychology, and I also became nationally board certified as a biofeedback therapist and as a hypnotherapist. Now, you might be surprised when you hear me say that. You might think to yourself, hypnosis? Well, I want you to know, I thought the very same thing. First of all, I had no idea what hypnosis was at the time, and I certainly never thought it was anything that I would get into. But the more I learned about hypnosis, the more fascinated I became. And what I realized is it has nothing to do with the way it's depicted on television or in stage shows. What hypnosis is actually is one of the most powerful methods for personal change that's available. Because what it does is it combines the effectiveness, the power of such popular techniques like mindfulness and meditation, but specific hypnotic techniques actually take it a step further because it makes it easy to achieve goals. So with meditation, you are going inward, which is very valuable. But with hypnosis, not only are you going inward, but you're also able to set and achieve your life goals. And this can be in all areas of your life. It could be with health, could be relationship, career, to lose weight. You can use hypnosis for anything, even to break free from any kind of addiction. Hypnosis is actually thousands of years old, and in fact, some of the easy willpower techniques that I'll be sharing with you date back to the 4th century. So what I did was I took some of the most powerful and effective mindfulness methods, and I created a wellness program that was then reviewed and sponsored in over 75 hospitals, over 100 major corporations that I had the privilege to bring out to over 100,000 people. So I know Easy Willpower works. It's helped so many, and I know that it can help you too. And during this hour, I'm going to share with you 3 simple steps to live your life healthy, happy, and free, to make willpower easy. So ready to get started? Great. So let me ask you a quick question. How many of you, on a conscious level, at least intellectually, want to walk out of this room and live the rest of your life healthy, happy, at your ideal weight? Great. Look around. All of you do. So the first step to easy willpower is recharge your motivation. And there are 4 ways to recharge your motivation. The first key is to make a decision. That's right, you've got to make a decision to do things in a new way. Because if you don't, then by default, you're going to keep doing things the old way. Because the subconscious part of your mind is quite comfortable doing things the way you've always done them. So you have to actually set an intention to do things in a new way. Because it is not enough to try and hope that things are going to be different, right? Because if you think about it, don't words like try and hope actually imply failure? They do. So instead, you have to make a decision to go down a new road. Can you imagine getting into your car and setting your GPS to the setting nowhere? Well, that's exactly where you'd end up. And even though it seems crazy, how many of us in our own lives are going forward with absolutely no direction? Or worse, we say we want to go somewhere, but all our behaviors are taking us to the exact opposite result. So it's time to make a decision to go down a new road. Now, the second way to recharge your motivation is to connect to the reasons why this is important to you. Think about what this means to you. Why do you want to change your life? Well, maybe you're dissatisfied in an area of your life, maybe career, maybe some of your closest relationships with your spouse or your children. Or maybe it's your health. Do you feel tired out or experiencing a lack of energy during the day? Do you have aches or pains? Maybe bad back, bad knees, sore feet. Yeah, of course, many of you do. And how many of you are concerned that your overweight condition or your unhealthy lifestyle will one day lead, if it hasn't even led to, a serious illness or disease? Heart attack, diabetes, stroke. Of course. So health is the strongest motivator. It certainly was for me. Because not only are you concerned about your health right now in the present moment, but you are also concerned about your future, right? If you keep going down the same road you're going, where's it going to lead? Well, you know the answer, and it can be very scary. So of course you want to feel better. But what else? Look better. That's right, you want to look better. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of vanity. How many of you have clothes in the closet right now you can only look at? Or do you look in the mirror and not really like what you see looking back at you, or even avoid it altogether? That's a horrible feeling. Or does your overweight condition or your health condition actually stop you from doing something you might want to do? Maybe lying in a bathing suit by a pool, even going out and socializing. It is awful feeling embarrassed or self-conscious about the way you look. Maybe you just want to feel more comfortable, right? Being able to bend over and pick something up easily, getting in and out of the car without a struggle. You don't have to feel stuck anymore. There is some very exciting research that's telling us that when we change our thinking, our bodies actually change. Isn't that incredible? Science is telling us that our bodies can change when we change our thinking. That's right. So here's a tip. State what you want in the positive. When you tell yourself, I don't want to be sick, all your subconscious mind hears is, be sick. Because your subconscious part of the mind doesn't process negatives. You can discover this for yourself right now. I'm going to tell you not to think of something, and I want you to see if it's possible. Okay, you ready? Okay, here we go. Don't think about your kitchen sink. Don't think of your cell phone. Isn't it interesting that it's actually impossible to not do something? So state what you want in the positive. Instead of telling yourself, I don't want to be sick, tired, moody, unhappy, state what you do want. I choose to be happy. I choose to be healthy. Small portions satisfy me. I prefer healthy food. I love my body. Doesn't that feel good? Of course it does. Now, the third way to recharge your motivation is believe in yourself. That's right, the past does not equal the future. Look around. Has anybody else accomplished what you're wanting to achieve for yourself? Well, you've got to say to yourself, if they can do it, I can too. Remember when you first learned to drive? Remember that? Remember how overwhelming it was? I mean, just to be able to change lanes, you would never take your hands off the wheel even for a second to turn on the radio, much less answer a phone call, would you? Remember that? But if you're a driver today, it's easy, right? You change lanes, you get off on the exit, you turn on the radio, you maybe even grab a phone call even though you're not supposed to. The point is, it's easy, it's effortless, it's automatic. Well, how did it get that way? Well, let's go back in time and take a look. There were two elements present when you first started to drive. Number one, you made a decision. Because not driving was not an option for you, was it? I mean, you weren't going to be dependent on other people for the rest of your life. Fear or no fear, you were going to drive. But the second factor was even more compelling, and that was simply that you looked around and you said to yourself, everyone else is driving. They are not better than me. They're not smarter than me. If they can do it, I can too. And that's exactly the attitude that I want you to have here today. Have you ever watched a baby learn to walk? Does that baby fall down a couple times and say, never mind? Of course not. That baby is motivated. And by being here, you are too. I have been so inspired by my client, Barbara. Barbara has lost 90 pounds with the Easy Willpower program. And I remember a story she was telling me just recently that was just so incredible. She was visiting with her doctor, and she said the doctor was sitting across from her looking at her chart, and all of a sudden she exclaimed, Barbara, I feel like I'm looking at the wrong chart. There was no more sign of diabetes. In fact, Barbara is so excited to tell me they're actually making plans to remove her insulin pump. That's right, isn't that amazing? So many of my clients are able to get off their medications with the help of their doctors when they start using Easy Willpower to lose weight and get healthy. So what Barbara did was she retrained her brain subconscious to think about herself and her life in a new way. Now, the fourth way to recharge your motivation is to connect your heart's true desire, to take a break from the endless, repetitive chatter of the mind and connect your heart's longing to be happy. There's an exercise I do in my hospital seminar where I actually guide people to their heart's desire by asking them to close their eyes and connect to the love in their heart. Take a break from the voice in the head, that voice of doubt and fear. And for many people, when they're able to start to connect to themselves in this way and start sending themselves some compassion, they're able to see themselves healthier, happier, younger, more alive than they have felt in a very long time. And you can imagine how this would recharge your motivation. So the first step to easy willpower is recharging your motivation. Now, your motivation is in the conscious part of your mind, but the obstacles to success are not. The obstacles to success are in the subconscious part of the mind. So what is the subconscious? Well, it's nothing more than a computer. It runs on programming. It doesn't stop to ask or evaluate if the program makes sense. It just operates automatically. So the subconscious part of the mind is what takes over whenever you're doing any kind of familiar activity. If you're getting dressed in the morning, you're driving to a routine location, subconscious makes it easy. You don't have to think about every step along the way. You know how when you go sledding and you climb up to the top of the hill and you always want to go down that same path? Why? Because you've already forged that path in the snow. That snow is already tamped down. You don't even want to go just a few feet over and start a new path, do you? No, you want to go with the old familiar path. But if you do, if you climb up to the top of the hill and you go over just a few feet and you slide down a new path, then you climb up to the top of the hill and again you go over a couple feet and you slide down that same new path that you just created. Before you know it, that old pathway is overgrown and uninteresting. You don't want to go down that anymore. And the new path becomes more and more familiar, more and more comfortable. And this is what happens in the nervous system. When you start creating new neural pathways of positive thinking, positive behaving. And the scientific term for this is neuroplasticity. And what that means simply is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout your lifetime. Isn't that incredible? Science is telling us that we can create new neural connections throughout our lifetime. That means that you're not stuck anymore. You can change. So with easy willpower, we are creating new neural pathways that lead to health, happiness, freedom, looking and feeling your best, inner peace, living at your ideal weight, so you can be in control of your life and your habits. There was an exciting study just done recently by the National Institute of Health, where what they did was they took a group of students and they measured their emotions daily for 1 month. And what they demonstrated was that people who are happier have greater financial success, better mental health, more fulfilling relationships, they cope better, and physical health and longevity is improved. Simply put, you can rewire your subconscious brain to be happier so that you can reap all these benefits. You have the motivation, or you wouldn't be sitting here with me right now. Think about why this is important to you. Maybe you have a dear friend or a family member who's suffering from diabetes, cancer, heart disease, maybe even dying prematurely. Or maybe you are sick and tired of all those endless medications and the horrible side effects. Maybe you just want to fit into that red dress or those cute jeans. Of course, you want more fulfilling relationships. Well, take a moment now and think about why this is important to you and affirm to yourself, nothing can hold me back. I have everything I need. Everything I have been through has led me to this moment, here and now, ready to begin again. I'm absolutely determined to succeed. I am succeeding. So the question is, if you know what you want, you believe that it's possible, you have the motivation, and you know exactly what to do, why aren't you doing it? Coming up, we'll look at the obstacles in your subconscious mind the obstacles that are blocking your success. And I'll give you proven and powerful techniques to break free from these obstacles so you can look and feel better for the rest of your life. Stay tuned.
So are you ready yet to truly tap into the power of your brain to improve the quality of your willpower? Well, coming up in the next segments of this lecture, you'll learn even more insights and techniques for tapping into the extraordinary power of your own mind to make important changes in your life and health. Hello, I'm Greg Sherwood here in the studio with Rena Greenberg, the host of this fascinating program. Rena, thanks so much for being here and doing this program.
Oh, Greg, it's great to be here. Thank you so much.
I've got so many questions. I'm glad you're in the studio awesome. With me. Now, we're going to get back and speak at greater length to Rena Greenberg and then go on to the next segment of her show shortly. But first, we're asking you to support this public television station with a donation that'll help us bring you more programs like this one. Programs that can get you thinking about your health in ways you've never thought about it before. Now, we've got some great ways to say thank you for that donation with gifts that'll help you make the most of Rena Greenberg's experience and advice. Now, we're going to go over these thank you gifts in more detail in just a few minutes, but just to give you a quick overview, make an investment of just $5 a month or $60 all at once to receive the DVD that brings you the complete program we're seeing now, plus a bonus session. Or raise your monthly gift to this station to $15 or $180 all at once to enjoy the entire Easy Willpower Master Package. It includes the DVD of the program with bonus material and a copy of Rena Greenberg's book, The Craving Cure. Now, the book goes into even more detail about how we can take advantage of the power of our brain to create better health outcomes for ourselves. If you're enjoying the lecture, you'll love the extra insights in this book. We also have another book to send you by Rena Greenberg, The Right Way, plus a bonus DVD that focuses on weight loss issues, a 5-CD audio work session, a workbook that includes a self-assessment quiz, and there are even 3 inspirational refrigerator magnets. There is really so much going on in this package that I feel it's important for you to understand all the elements. So, Rena, I'm going to ask you to help me walk through this because it really is an extraordinary package. Because it's one thing to understand sort of philosophically what you're talking about, how powerful the subconscious is, and the fact that we can change it. But that's the exciting part to me. I believe the subconscious is at work, but it seems to always be at work against me. And you're saying you can get it to work for you.
Exactly, Greg. That is the point. The subconscious mind is working 24/7. But often, as we all know, we're doing things that don't make sense. And so what I'm offering is a package here that can really help you to change your life. It's truly a comprehensive package of tools that can help you to finally break free from those habits that have held you back, not only to lose weight, but to get healthier, to feel better, mentally, physically, emotionally. So it's really a package of tools. The CDs work together with the DVD, and the CDs are so varied. There's a walking CD, CDs to help you sleep better, to reduce stress, to help you to be able to meditate and relax, and to reprogram your mind so that you want to start eating healthier foods, along with the books, the Food Map Workbook, which I've created exclusively for public television, to help you to figure out exactly what foods you need to be eating without feeling like you're on a diet. And then the initial quiz to help you figure out where you're at, Greg, so that you can make the positive changes moving forward.
Well, you know, I've had a chance to read the books, the Craving Cure, which I found fascinating because you redefined the whole idea of how to get out from behind all those voices in your head that give you permission to do things that ultimately are unhealthy. You actually teach us how to free ourselves from those negative voices.
Exactly, and that's the key. We get so bogged down. I've seen it over and over. My clients tell me, you know, that they just feel frustrated, that they feel overwhelmed or confused about what to eat, or just so much failure in the history. And it's important to realize that you can change. And it's the books coupled with the 5 exceptional CDs to help reinforce and reprogram the thinking so you see yourself, your life, and your health in a new way. With the DVD and the food map workbook, it's all going to work together to help you to make the changes that you want to make so that you can feel healthier. It improves your romantic life, you're more confident, and you're able to make better, healthier choices, be more active, and feel good.
You know, it's so far, I don't think anybody would disagree with any of the premise that, you know, our subconscious does rule us. I think there's more and more scientific evidence that 80% of what we do in the world is driven by our subconscious. Exactly. I think for people of my age who grew up thinking kind of like, you know, what you see is what you get, right? I've got these habits, I'll never change them. But you're saying the science and the techniques are there to change even habits you've had for many decades.
Oh my gosh, Greg, and that is the good news. You're not stuck anymore. You can change the habits, the overeating, the binging, the snacking, the emotional eating when you're not physically hungry, even the habit of worrying, obsessive, negative thinking, or being sedentary. These habits can be changed. You start to see yourself in a new way when you listen to the CDs, when you watch the DVD, and I have so many tools and techniques in the books, how to break free from cravings and how to begin to just change your behavior so you can push food away, feel good about it, be in a restaurant with other people, and feel really empowered when you make a healthy choice. These are the tools and techniques that work.
I know, I love that. I can't wait to get into this 5 audio CD thing, because this really looks like you set this up to be a very interactive group of sessions, so it's going to be like being with you in an ongoing therapy to make these changes.
It's exactly like that, Greg. I'm literally going to be with you, walking you step by step, holding your hand, whispering in your ear. And this is what my clients say to me, that they literally start to hear a new inner voice. The old voice said, chips, I'm going to eat those, you know? And the new voice is not bad girl or bad boy, but I don't even want those anymore. It's freedom. And that's what my clients say. Not only does the weight drop off, but they feel healthier, less depressed, happier, more in control of your life. It's great, and you can do it. It's never too late.
I've had the chance to read the book, and I can tell you every element of this package is going to add to your ability to make really wonderful changes in your life, as your help at the $15 a month level will help improve our financial future here at this public television station. Rena Greenberg is our guest, and she's about to give us even more insights into how to improve the quality of our lives by making the choice to be in control of our own health destiny. So enjoy the program and join us back here after more of Easy Willpower with Rena Greenberg right here on your public television station.
Welcome back. Now that you've recharged your motivation, I want to talk to you about facing your obstacles and give you proven techniques to regain your physical, mental, and emotional health so you can look and feel better for the rest of your life. Step 2 is facing your obstacles. Now, the obstacles to success are not in the conscious part of the mind. They're in the subconscious. So let's take a look at them. What are they? Well, the greatest obstacle that's getting in the way of your success is simply the momentum of unproductive eating habits that have developed over time. The overeating, the binging, the snacking, the emotional eating when you're not even physically hungry, just because you have a craving for something sweet or salty. Sound familiar? Of course. But how did you ever get into these habits? Well, it's simple. You learned them. For many of you, very innocently, way back in childhood. Because weren't you taught to finish everything on the plate? Have some more food? Grow up to be big and strong? Yes. And when you were upset, were you encouraged to have some cookies and milk? They'll make you feel better? Of course, these messages, these habits were literally ingrained in the subconscious part of your mind. And when we break down these habits, we can see they're nothing more than a stimulus response mechanism. It's that simple. A bell goes off, thought comes in, you respond. What are the bells that are going off? Seeing food, smelling food, commercials on television, time of day. 12 o'clock lunchtime, you're not hungry, but you sit down and eat anyway. And all of your emotions, you're bored, you're angry, or you're happy. When you take a few minutes during the day to practice the mindfulness techniques that you're learning here, all the bells are still going to continue to go off. The thought of food may come in, but the response is blocked. Easy willpower blocks that automatic response. So now you have an opportunity to make a new choice. A choice that's consistent with the vision that you're holding for your life. Living your life healthy, happy, confident. It's time to get into some new positive habits. During the day, stop what you're doing. Take a breath and connect to your body and ask yourself, what do I need in this moment? Before you eat anything, stop and ask yourself, how will eating this food make me feel? Choose your food mindfully, consciously, with awareness. Every time you pick up a spoon or a fork, I want you to imagine yourself wearing the clothes you want to wear, looking the way you want to look, feeling the way you want to feel. Every morning when you wake up, every night when you fall asleep, look up to the ceiling and flash in your mind an image of yourself, healthy, happy, fitting into your clothes comfortably, pushing harmful foods away from you, feeling strong and empowered. Looking up helps you to access your imagination. The more you practice looking up and imagining yourself healthy, happy, confident, peaceful, balanced, with happy relationships, the more these new images of yourself become embedded in the subconscious part of your mind. The great thing about habits is it's just as easy to develop a positive habit like planning ahead or preparing healthy food as it is to develop a negative habit. Your subconscious mind doesn't care. So one of the greatest obstacles that's getting in the way of success are the old habits. But another obstacle is the pleasurable association with the wrong foods. How many of you feel that you love to eat? Yes. Somewhere in your own mind, the activity of eating is associated with pleasure, reward, satisfaction, being sociable. Easy willpower helps you to change your value system so looking and feeling your best gives you more pleasure than the activity of eating. So the only way to have success over the long run, there's only one way, and that is to change the way you think about food subconsciously. So you actually prefer the healthy food that sustains you, and you're turned off to the foods that are harmful to you. And the great news is your taste for food can change. That's right. There's some incredible research being done. In fact, there was a recent study done at Tufts University and Massachusetts General Hospital where they took a group of men and women and they actually did brain scans. And what they discovered is that it's possible to reverse the addictive power of unhealthy food and increase the preference for healthy food. Isn't that wonderful? You know, if you would have told me 25 years ago that I ever could have preferred a salad to a bagel and cream cheese, I would have said, that's impossible. And yet, that's actually true for me today. How did it happen? Simple. I use the techniques that I'm sharing with you today to retrain the brain. So my old thought about bagels and cream cheese was, that's going to taste good. I'm going to enjoy that. It's going to give me pleasure. But I replaced that thought with the memory that when I actually ate bagels and cream cheese, I felt bloated, uncomfortable. So my new thought was, yuck. I don't want them anymore. And you can do the same. When someone walks in with a plate of hot cookies, instead of focusing on the taste and the smell, well, you can look at that exact same plate of cookies, and it can remind you of thick rolls of ugly, uncomfortable, unhealthy fat, and that's freedom, right? Maybe you struggle with arthritis, depression, anxiety. If I was to ask you how much does your overweight or your health condition bother you on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being through the roof, what number would you give me? For many of you, it would have to be a 10 plus. And yet, are you associating pain with the foods that are causing it? Or do you subconsciously live in the illusion that these foods give you relief from pain? Do you think of these foods as your best friend? Well, it's time to look at food and anything else based on the results that you want in your life. Lusting after donuts, cookies, bread only causes you pain. The trick is to remember how much pain your overweight or your health condition causes you before you eat the food, not after. I want to tell you about my client, Sharon. She is amazing. You know, she lost 113 pounds with my program. She did. And I love the story she tells of how she had been in the grocery store with her husband. She said she looked down at her cart and couldn't believe what she saw there. It was full of salad, vegetables, healthy foods. And even better, there was absolutely no junk in her cart. Well, she called her husband over to take a look. She had not even consciously realized that she was the one who was automatically making new choices. These are the kind of results that you can expect when you start using these methods. They are powerful. Ultimately, you decide where you associate your pleasure and your pain, not just with food, but in all areas of your life, including exercise. When you think about exercise, do you conjure up images of feeling out of breath and miserable? Well, instead, when you think about moving your body, I want you to imagine yourself happy, energized, invigorated. Remember when you were a child? Remember how you used to love to run and play? Well, you couldn't wait to get outside and move your body. You couldn't wait for recess time. When that bell rang, did you sit there saying, "Oh my God, do I have to move now?" Of course not. You bolted out of your chair. You couldn't wait to move your body. Well, it's time to get back in touch with that natural joy of movement and stop focusing on those aches and pains. I want to tell you a story about a man named Daryl. He is amazing. He came to see me at a hospital that was offering my wellness program. And at the time, you know, he was over 300 pounds. He was. He could not even walk up a flight of stairs. Well, I gave him an exercise to do, where every day he would imagine himself pushing harmful foods away from him. Just in his mind, he would imagine himself pushing those harmful foods away. And every day he would connect to the love he felt for his granddaughter. She meant everything to him, and he wanted to live for her. Well, about a week after he got started, he called me up. He was so excited. He started walking. 3 months later, he was running. 9 months later, he won his age group in the Gasparilla race, a huge race in Tampa, Florida. You know, he was 55 years old at the time. That's right. He went on to lose 123 pounds. Where you are today is not an indicator of where you're going to be when you tap into the vast power in your subconscious mind. Another obstacle that gets in the way of your success is simply that negative voice. You know the voice I mean. It says things like, "Oh, at my age, with my hormones, what's the difference? I might as well just eat what I want." Or, Oh, I've been so good all week. I'm just going to have one. Well, now that I've had one, why don't I have the whole box, get rid of them, and start the diet Monday? Do these voices sound familiar? Of course they do. But when they creep in, rather than acting on them immediately, you can stop and ask yourself, wait a second, where is this voice coming from? Is it speaking to me for my own highest good? Is it the voice that knows and wants what's best for me? And the answer is, of course not. These voices are just simply old tapes, old programming that's been going on for a long time. So let's take a moment now and really face that voice head on. Because so often when that voice comes in, don't you just find yourself wanting to distract yourself, get busy, make a phone call? You don't want to listen to it, do you? It's uncomfortable. But when you ignore that voice, what happens? Does it go away? Of course not. It just gets louder, right? What you focus on grows. It's time to start a new conversation with yourself where you focus on your inner strength, your loving nature. Focus on your inner power and your determination to succeed. Which brings me to another obstacle, and that is simply not having a plan. Think about it in every area of your life where you're successful, whether it's career, relationship, even driving. You follow rules, right? Do you stop at red lights when you're upset? Yes. How about if you're feeling lonely? You see my point? You do not let your transient emotions dictate your future in areas of your life where you're already successful. But if you're struggling with your weight or your health, most likely in this area you're not following any rules. Unless, of course, you're on a diet, in which case you're following someone else's crazy rules, which don't really make any sense for you. So it's only a matter of time before you abandon those crazy rules, throw the diet out the window, and go back to your old eating habits. So the only way to have success in the long run is to follow rules that make sense for you. And that's why the only person who can create these rules is you, right? Because if you're always looking to the experts out there to tell you what to eat, you are bound to be confused. And that's because there isn't any one eating plan that works for everyone. So some people do very well on a vegetarian or a vegan plan. Yeah, but other people need the protein. They need the chicken, fish, or meat to balance the blood sugar and cut the carb cravings. So each of us needs to discover what is the best food plan for ourselves. Ultimately, the only way to be successful is to learn to trust your body, to show you and tell you exactly what it needs. Easy Willpower teaches you how to listen to your body. There is an exercise that my clients love that'll help you to determine exactly what foods you can have most of the time, what foods are best off avoided, and what foods you can have some of the time. It's called creating a food map. And creating a food map puts you in charge of your destiny, so there's no diet to rebel against. Because with a diet, it's very restrictive. There are two columns, foods to eat, foods to avoid. And that's why dieting leads to deprivation. But a food map is much more freeing. It's much more flexible because it has 4 columns. On the far right are the foods that are best for you, that create health and vitality. And so you choose to eat these foods 90% of the time because you feel better when you eat them. Now on the far left are the foods that are not an option. Not because you're being a good girl or a good boy, but because these foods are trigger foods. They're toxic to you. They create addiction and compulsion. So you retrain your brain subconscious by associating these trigger foods with the pain that they're causing, with your overweight condition, with your health condition. So you don't want them anymore. And what makes this so doable as a lifestyle are the 2 columns in the middle. These are the foods that you can have even daily in moderation. So the food map actually teaches you how to eat. The key is let your body, your intuition, your actual experience guide you, not the food news of the week. You're the boss of your life. You are in control of your life. So step 2 is facing the obstacles that are getting in the way of your success, the unproductive habits that have developed over time, the pleasurable associations with the wrong foods, listening to that negative self-sabotaging voice, and not having a plan. So your desire to be happy and healthy is in the conscious part of your mind. But these obstacles are in the subconscious. This creates an inner conflict, right? Well, coming up, you will learn powerful techniques for tapping into the power of your subconscious mind to resolve and eliminate any inner conflict so you can look and feel better for the rest of your life. Stay tuned.
Now, are you thinking, as I am, that it might be better to learn to control what's going on in your subconscious mind than it is to have it control what you can and can't do with your health and happiness goals? Well, then stay with us for more of this enlightening program from Rena Greenberg. Hello, I'm Greg Sherwood, and Rena Greenberg is here in the studio with us to share more tools and techniques. Rena, this is such an intriguing program. Thank you so much for bringing it to public television.
Oh, Greg, it's so wonderful to be here. Thank you.
There's much more ahead in this program, but first, we need to remind you that this station can't be here without your support. So please give us a call now and donate any amount you can afford. For example, make a monthly investment of just $5 or $60 all at once to receive the DVD that brings you the complete program we're seeing now, plus bonus material. Or raise your monthly gift to this station to $15 or $180 all at once to enjoy the entire Easy Willpower Master Package. It includes the DVD with bonus material and a copy of Rena Greenberg's book, The Craving Cure. And let me tell you, if you're enjoying the lecture, you'll love the extra insights that fill this book. And we will also send you a second book by Rena, The Right Way, plus a bonus DVD that focuses on weight loss issues, 5 audio CDs, a workbook with a self-assessment quiz, and 3 inspirational refrigerator magnets. Now, there's so much going on in this package, and I feel it's important for you to understand all its elements. So I'm going to have Rena Greenberg here to explain what's in store for you when you make that investment in this public television station and that investment in yourself at this level. And please remember, the best way to support all of our efforts here at public television is by becoming a sustaining member. Now, you can set up a sustaining membership in just 2 minutes by calling the number there on the screen or by going over to our website. Every month, you'll make an automatic contribution of $5, $10, $15, really any amount you choose. Your sustaining membership will be ongoing, so there's never any need to worry about renewing. And best of all, you'll be providing a constant stream of support for everything you value about this station, the programs we present, and the work we do in your community. So give us a call as I spend some time with our guest, Rena Greenberg, giving her a chance to explain in greater detail the benefits of the Easy Willpower Master Package that comes to you at that $15 a month gift of support. There really are so many things going on in this package that you've really anticipated what somebody who's watching this lecture going, boy, I'd like to make those kind of changes in my life, but can I really change old habits? Can I really gain some sort of willpower?
The great news is, Greg, you absolutely can, but you need the tools. You've been trying to do this with your conscious mind alone. Well, if that would have worked, you already would have done it. you're going to start to develop a new inner conversation with yourself, and it's going to be much more positive, much more empowering, much more effective, so that you can actually change the way you relate to food. So you can literally leave food on the plate, walk away from food. That might not be your issue. Maybe you just need to get motivated to move your body more. I have a fabulous walking CD so that you actually feel the urge to want to move your body to get out there. And when you do, you'll see so many benefits. You'll feel energized. Your romantic life will improve. You'll feel happier and healthier. That's the key, isn't it? For all of us, we want to be healthy mentally, physically, emotionally. And using these tools, I've got the 2 books, as Greg mentioned, The Right Way and the Craving Cure book. And these are going to help you tap into that power of your subconscious mind. They're just loaded with exercises, tools, and techniques that I've developed over the years. My clients love these because they say, I've never enjoyed food more. But for the first time, I'm not eating sugar or not drinking alcohol, whatever the issue is. Maybe they're not eating wheat. And I feel good. I don't feel like I'm deprived or denied. It just comes naturally because what happens is, and this is a secret, your taste for food will actually change when you're using the tools that I'm sharing with you. The CDs, it's like I'm whispering in your ear. I'm there with you, holding your hand. It's as if I'm in a private coaching session with you, actually giving you a new inner voice. It literally is retraining the brain so you see yourself and your relationship not only with food, but your relationships in general. So you feel happier, you see yourself in a new way, you're just more confident.
Well, I love that. And remember, this is the package. All these elements that Rena's talking about are in that package at the $15 a month level. You're going to get the Easy Willpower Master Package with all of these tools and really a program designed and customized really to make the changes all of us would like to make. I think most people listening right now are like me. We believe that there is a lot of power in the subconscious, and we've been driven by it perhaps through our whole lives. But I think what you're adding to the conversation in a really wonderful way is that there are actually tools now and methods for getting in there and changing it so it's doing what you want to do.
Exactly, Greg. The technology is here, and now is the time. You don't have to struggle or suffer anymore because you can change the old pattern, really literally rewrite the script. When you're listening to the CDs, even just a few minutes a day, in the car, while you're sleeping, while you're doing other things. And then I have a couple of CDs that'll really help you to go inside and learn how to do meditation, even just a few minutes a day. So when you're choosing food more mindfully, consciously, with awareness. You're not just grabbing those chips just because they're there or because someone else is eating them. You're really tuning in and saying, what does my body really need? So many my clients have said, you know, in the past, I couldn't relax. I couldn't meditate. My mind was always racing. And now it's easy because I'm giving you the tools, Greg. I'm literally taking you by the hand.
So learning how to meditate effectively is just one of the facets of the entire program.
It's just one,
And I noticed in the Craving Cure that I've read, there are lots of recipe ideas. There's a whole cleanse program in there. So these are all, it seems like you've really stacked up lots of elements to give us every possible opportunity to go from where we are now, maybe a little frustrated with our habits, frustrated and perhaps maybe a little fatalistic. You get to be in your mid-60s, you're thinking, okay, this is the way it's going to be. But you're saying anybody can change.
Anybody can change. Now is the time to reverse your health. I've seen people with all kinds of ailments, depression, anxiety, diabetes, and you start to feel better, you start to eat healthier. Trust me, it can make a huge difference. But you've got to get motivated, and these tools make willpower easy.
Willpower has always been something I think we've all characterized as really hard, and most of us don't have it most of the time. And you're actually saying if you retool the voices in your head and the conversation you're having with yourself, willpower can become as natural as falling asleep.
Absolutely. It just becomes second nature. That's what happens by listening to the CDs just a few minutes a day on a regular basis. And you'll find that the foods that used to tempt you don't even look good anymore. And you just start to feel more confident, more in control of your life and your eating habits. And I give you so many tips and hints so that you will enjoy the foods that you're eating. That is so important. There's no deprivation. There's no denial. There's no dieting. There's nobody else telling you what to eat. That's not going to work. You want to be in control of your life. You want to decide what foods to eat. I'm going to give you the tools so that you can literally create a food map, a food plan. It's like a blueprint that's going to work for your body so you're never hungry, but the pounds drop off and you're in your optimal health.
You know, what I loved about it in reading the book is you kind of made me realize, because you're looking at the science, you're looking at human nature, and you're saying, we've all been programmed into some really bad habits.
Yes.
And that's the bad news. But the good news is, the same kind of programming that got you where you are, you can undo that and program yourself to be energetic, happy, and going towards the goals that really will enhance your life.
Exactly. That old negative programming is just a habit. You can replace that with positive thinking. Now, we all hear, oh, positive thinking, but sometimes it's not as easy as just closing your eyes and trying to be positive. You actually have to retrain your brain so that thinking more optimistically and feeling that hope, that empowerment becomes second nature. And by listening to my CDs on a regular basis, I'm literally teaching you how to change that thought process so you wake up in the morning and you actually feel good. And you actually are starting to make choices that are going to lead you to the result that you want. So you're looking in the mirror and saying, hey, I like what I see here. I feel good. I feel energized. And people tell me that all their relationships improve, their coworkers start to notice, because not only are you going to lose weight, you're going to feel calmer, more relaxed, more centered, instead of just listening to the negative voices in your mind. And that happens by listening to the CDs, watching that DVD, using the material in the books, which give you amazing tools and techniques, some of them really, really unique and powerful. You're going to be surprised. And then starting off with the assessment quiz, Healthy Eating, Healthy Living IQ quiz, so you can really see where you're at emotionally, mentally, and physically so that you can make the changes you need to make.
It's all there. It's really quite comprehensive. Rena, thank you. And up next, we're going to hear Rena Greenberg share even more tips for improving your own willpower by learning to manage what's going on in your subconscious. And she gives us the tools for stopping all those self-defeating voices in your head. Now, I don't think any of us enjoy listening to those critical voices, but on the other hand, we'd love to hear from you with a contribution that will keep your station, our station, here for you in the months and years ahead. So please do your part after more of Easy Willpower with Rena Greenberg right here on this, your public television station.
Thank you. Welcome back. Now that you have recharged your motivation and faced your obstacles, you are ready for the most important step to easy willpower. Step 3 is tap into the power of your subconscious mind. On the one hand, on a conscious level, of course, you want to achieve your ideal weight, your ideal health for all the obvious reasons. But on the other hand, part of you wants to continue with your old, unproductive eating behaviors from the past, right? You relate to this feeling of conflict? I'm sure you do. It's very common. Now, the only way to resolve this conflict is by introducing into your subconscious mind a new image of yourself. Healthy, happy, confident. When you stop to think about the behaviors that you choose during the day, and you ask yourself, why am I doing them? If you're honest, you don't really know, do you? Well, that's okay. 90% of the time, you're only doing the things you do today. You're doing them automatically only because you did those same exact things yesterday. Isn't that right? So it's true. One little cookie won't hurt you, but how often do you have just one? So if you have one little cookie today, and again tomorrow, by the second or third day or hour, it's likely to become a habit, isn't it? But if at the same time you swap that cookie out for a handful of almonds or some celery filled with almond butter, and you do that for just 3 days, just 3 days, you can do that, right? You start to create a new positive habit for yourself. And the reason it becomes easier and easier is because your subconscious mind is actually going to send you impulses to keep doing the very same thing that you've been doing. Because the subconscious part of the mind doesn't care whether those things help you or hurt you. That's why it's so important for you to be mindful and think about the behaviors you choose during the day and make sure that they match up with the results that you want. So I want you to rehearse making a mental movie of yourself and rehearsing yourself feeling the way you want to feel, looking the way you want to look, being the way you want to be. So the first way to tap into the power of your subconscious mind is change the way you talk to yourself. When you see yourself pulling into a fast food place and you hear yourself saying, "I've had a hard day, I deserve it," stop and tell yourself, "No thanks, my body is not a trash can." That's so easy, right? You can do that. Of course. Or here's another one. When you hear yourself saying, "Oh, one plate of French fries couldn't possibly hurt me," stop, take a breath, and remind yourself the foods you choose nourish and sustain you. And affirm that to yourself. The foods I choose nourish and sustain me. Well, don't you feel better already just speaking to yourself in a kinder, gentler voice? Try out your new positive voice and see how much better you feel. Now, believe me, I know that negative voice can be so compelling. Yeah, it seems to speak the truth, but it doesn't. If that negative voice is trying to convince you that you're bound to fail at anything, know that it's only preying on your fear. That voice is not worth your time. Give yourself the voice that you deserve, that gives you hope and faith and recognizes infinite possibilities that are available for you. Now, the second way to tap into the power of your subconscious mind is visualize yourself being successful, because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. How hard is it for you to imagine yourself stuck in traffic feeling stressed? Pretty easy, right? Is it hard for you to imagine yourself stepping into your shower or stepping into your bathtub? No, all these things are easy because your mind thinks in pictures. You don't have to try at all. It happens quite naturally. It's automatic. Here, let's do an exercise together right now. Are you ready? Okay, so I want you to imagine now that you are walking into your kitchen. You with me? Good. Okay, so go over to your fridge, and I want you to open your refrigerator and take out a nice, juicy, yellow lemon. Close the fridge. Now pull out a cutting board and a sharp knife. Got it? Good. Okay, you put the lemon on the cutting board, and I want you to cut out a nice, juicy slice of that yellow lemon. Now pick up the slice and start squeezing it out on your tongue. The seeds are popping. That sour juice is hitting your tongue. Are you puckering? Me too. And I've done this exercise dozens of times. The point is, when you imagine something vividly using all your senses, your body can't not respond. This is the power of the mind-body connection. What you think about, what you imagine, is very often what is being created in your life. I want to tell you about Julie. She's amazing. You know, Julie lost 140 pounds with my program. Yeah, she did, and she's kept it off for many, many years. How'd she do it? She used the Easy Willpower method to change her inner conversation. So her old conversation was, "I'm stressed out. I need chocolate." And her new conversation became, "I'm stressed out. Don't get between me and the gym." So like Julie, you don't have to wait for your life to be perfect before you start to make the changes that are so important for you. Now, the third way to tap into the power of your subconscious mind is shifting your perspective. There are little things that you can do even in a busy day that'll help you change your inner state and open your perspective. Well, try this. Remember earlier I told you that when you look up, it helps you to access your imagination? Yeah, but did you know that when something's bothering you, giving you some stress or anxiety, did you know that it's actually less emotionally upsetting if you look up when you think about it than if you're looking down? Yeah, try it the next time you're upset. This works because physiologically it's harder to access your emotions when you are looking up. Didn't your mom always tell you to stand up straight? Well, she was right. And now you know why. Now, another great, easy place to start is with your breathing. So take a deep breath and look up, and you'll find that whatever's bothering you just does not have the same emotional charge. I promise this works. Now, the fourth way to tap into the power of your subconscious mind is imagery, because the only way to change your level of health and happiness is by first imagining it. Advertisers know that. You're going to discover that you are being hypnotized all the time by advertising, by the media, by politicians, and the voices from the past. The goal is to unhypnotize yourself, to break free from the mass hypnosis of the food industry, the pharmaceutical industry, and the billion-dollar diet industry. Aren't they all trying to convince you that they have the pill, the substance, the food, the drink that's going to give you the happiness and the pleasure that you crave, right? But ask yourself, how's it working? Obesity, cancer, stroke, heart disease, diabetes are more prevalent than ever. The number of people on prescription medications is staggering. And at the same time, all of our food is being doused with sugar and chemicals, making people even sicker. How's this way of life working for us? It's not. It's time to break free from the mass hypnosis and create the health, peace, and happiness that you desire and that you deserve. The Easy Willpower program helps you to take your power back, take your life back, because it teaches you to accept and receive only the messages that are for your greater good, rather than all the messages that you're constantly being bombarded with from within the environment. Practice using expressions of assertiveness. They're so simple, but they work. Here's some that my clients love that I want to share with you. Try this. No thanks, I'm not hungry. So simple, right? But how often do you actually say that? Not often enough. Here's another one. The smallest portion for me, please. So simple, right? Okay, one more. Everything was delicious, thanks, but I've had enough. The key is to memorize these statements and practice them. Do it every day. Before you know it, someone will offer you a piece of birthday cake, and you'll hear that voice in your head saying, everything was delicious, thanks, but I've had enough. Wow, right? Think how good you're going to feel in that moment. Let me give you another simple change you can make that's going to make a big difference in your life. Instead of picturing the scale numbers climbing, I want you to imagine yourself stepping onto the scale and feeling happy. That's right, it can and it will happen for you. You know, there is so much in life that, of course, we can't control. But your thoughts, that's the one thing that you can control. Don't give that precious power away. There is a study that I love. Now, this study was done years ago. Researchers took 3 groups of athletes. The first group of basketball players was instructed to not practice at all. The second group of basketball players was told to practice 1 hour a day on the court. Now, the third group was told to stay off the court, but instead to spend 1 hour a day visualizing getting that ball into the basket. Interestingly, do you know that it was the third group, the one that only practiced the sport by visualizing success? That is the group that made the most progress. And that's because your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So the suggestions I give my clients and I'm giving you are for empowering you to make you healthy and happy so that you can find inner peace and inner strength. The subconscious mind absorbs these suggestions because it's open and it's receptive. And that's what makes these techniques so powerful. That's what makes them work. Now, the 5th way to tap into the power of your subconscious mind is practicing mindfulness. Try this. Before you eat anything, stop and ask yourself, how is eating this food going to make me feel? If you get a pleasurable taste or an image of comfort, ask yourself, what else is true? How will I feel later, the moment I regret eating it? Fast forward in your mind to that moment. You know the moment I mean, where you feel horrible, you feel fat, you feel bloated, uncomfortable. Maybe you feel full of guilt or shame, whatever it is for you. But remember the pain that eating this food is ultimately going to cause you and how it keeps you spinning in that negative self-defeating cycle. Do this every time you even think about eating a food that's a trigger for you. Superimpose in your mind that image of regret over that old image of desire. You will be amazed that you can override that old negative thinking that leads to the results that you don't want. And you can replace that and choose something new that's going to make you feel great about yourself. 3 steps to easy willpower is an effective and easy way to help you achieve the results that your heart longs for. It's time to stop beating yourself up and to start cheering yourself on. Of course, you and I know there are so many factors that are outside of our control. But just getting a hold of your own thoughts, words, and actions, no matter what the circumstance, is not only empowering, but it's life-changing. It's time to make a decision to recharge your motivation, to break free from the old obstacles from the past, to stop letting them hold you back, to stop listening to that destructive voice, and to start tuning in to the voice of your heart and soul, the voice that does know and want what's best for you, the part of you that loves you truly and is always here guiding you to your success. The past does not equal the future. Everything that you have been through in your life has led you to this moment, here and now, ready to begin again. You are stronger than you think. Believe in yourself. You can do it. Thank you.
Wow, I hope this inspirational program is filling you with a sense of personal power and newfound motivation. Hello again, I'm Greg Sherwood, and Rena Greenberg is with us to remind you that now is also the time to support public television with a donation that says thanks for this fascinating program and all the other ones you enjoy here. Rena, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you, Greg. It's great to be here.
Now, Rena Greenberg is here to share more of her insights with us, and you can revisit this program with your gift of just $5 a month or a one-time gift of $60. You'll receive the DVD that brings you the complete program we're seeing now, plus a bonus section that you haven't seen in this broadcast. Now, if you can make a generous contribution of $15 a month or $180 all at once, we will be happy to send you Rena's Easy Willpower Master Package, a great collection of tools and resources that includes 2 books, the program DVD with bonus material, plus a bonus DVD that focuses on weight loss issues, a set of 5 audio CDs, a workbook with a self-assessment quiz, and 3 inspirational refrigerator magnets. Now, you know, I feel it's so important for you to understand all this package's many elements that I'm going to have Rena herself explain what's in store for you when you make your investment in this public television station and yourself at this level. And please remember that the best way to support all of our efforts here at your public television station is by becoming a sustaining member. Now, you can set up a sustaining membership in just 2 minutes by calling the number here on the screen or by going to our website. Then every month, you'll make an automatic contribution of $5 or $10 or $15. Really, any amount you choose is fine with us. Your sustaining membership will be ongoing, so there's never any need to worry about renewing. And best of all, you'll be providing a constant stream of support for everything you value about this station, the programs we present, and the work we do in your community. So give us a call while I've got our guest, Rena Greenberg, here to explain in greater detail the benefits of the package. Now, this is the package we're talking about that comes at the $15 a month level. It's going to come to their home. How do they begin? How does it start?
Exactly. It is such a great comprehensive package, Greg. I'm excited to offer this to the public television viewers. So I think the best place to start is with the Food Map Workbook. My clients love this because the big question is, what do I eat? There is so much conflicting information out there, and the Food Map Workbook will actually help you to figure out what are the foods that are best for you. So the Food Map Workbook is a great place to start. Now, another great place to start, as soon as you've started to go over that Food Map Workbook, is with the Healthy Eating and Healthy Living IQ Quiz. And what this does is it gives you a starting point where you're at, not just with food, but in many areas of your life, with your lifestyle, with your relationships, with your emotional health, managing your emotions, with your mental health, with exercising, with eating habits. You look at all of it and you can take an assessment of where your starting point is and actually score it. And the wonderful thing is, as you start to use the tools in the package, the CDs I'm going to go over with you, the DVD, the books, you're going to start to see changes in all areas of your life. It's very exciting. So it's not just weight loss, but it's your health, mental, physical, emotional health. And you'll actually be able to chart those changes and score them with the Healthy Eating and Healthy Living IQ Quiz. And you'll start to feel much more positive, much more empowered, and ready to keep going. That's what's exciting about it. So you're not going to give up.
Okay, so I start with the workbook, then I do the quiz,
yes.
Then I've got all these CDs and DVDs and books. What next?
Okay, so what happens now is now you're ready to go and you're like on a roll. So I would recommend that you dig right into the 5 CD and DVD set. Now what's wonderful about this set is that there are CDs for every time and every place. In other words, when you're sleeping, when you're driving in the car, when you want to start to exercise. There's a great walking CD that's just going to put that spring in your step, so instead of feeling like, oh, I got to move, you're going to have the urge to move your body with this walking affirmation CD. Great music, affirmations over the music. So these CDs all work together, and then there are 3 CDs to help you to relax. It's such a crazy, busy place out there, right? So we want to be able to go inside and relax. And many of my clients will come and say, look, I want to meditate, but I can't. My mind is always racing. I'm always worrying. So I'll actually guide you by the hand and help you to go inside, to get out of the chatter of the head, that negative sabotaging voice. Connect to your heart when you listen to the CDs, when you watch the DVD, just a few minutes a day. And in a matter of weeks, Greg, you're going to see all kinds of changes with relationships, but also with food. My clients tell me now they're pushing harmful foods away. They're choosing healthier foods. They're in a restaurant. Everyone around them might be ordering, chicken wings and greasy food. And it's not like I'm on a diet. It's all of a sudden like, you know what? That doesn't even look good. You just start to see the grease oozing out because you've been running a new mental movie in your mind when you listen to the CDs daily.
Well, that's what I loved about reading your book, is that notion that you're asking us to reprogram ourselves.
Yes.
But I think we all have to realize we've been programmed. We've been programmed to be sucked in by advertising and sucked in by sweet foods and sucked in by all these indulgences. And that same mental programming technology can be retrained with these techniques.
That's exactly right, Greg. We've got to take the power back. And listening to the CDs, watching the DVD, using the amazing techniques in the Right Way book and the Craving Cure book, you'll start to break free from the cravings, and you'll literally have a new way of thinking, a new way of seeing yourself, where you can treat yourself with self-love, with self-respect, really caring for yourself, and your behaviors are going to change, and your friends will notice, your kids will notice. It's incredible because you just start to look at food differently, and the foods that used to be tempting, they're just not anymore because you're using the techniques in the book, you're using the CDs, and you're watching that DVD, and it's really retraining the brain, just as you said.
Well, I just want to chime in here and retrain your brain in a very small but important way. If you're somebody that enjoys public television, tunes in on a regular basis, and takes real value from it, but you haven't yet made that investment in the service, maybe you haven't done it for a number of years, maybe you haven't done it ever, well, this is a great time for you to do something really important to us and provide that financial gift of support. And if you can come in at that $15 a month level, you will enjoy every element of the Easy Willpower Master Package, the one that Rena's talking about right now. You're going to have all those CDs. You're going to have that comprehensive training program. You're going to have the books. You're going to have the DVD of the program we just enjoyed with the extra bonus material, the workbook, the quiz. It's all coming your way for making about a 50-cent a day investment in this service. And my guess is you take more than 50 cents of value away from this station each and every time you tune in and enjoy it. Rena, now one of the things I got to tell you, because I'm 64 years old, I have gone through many diets in my long life, and they've been up and down and up and down, and my experience is like everybody's.
Right.
Works. All of them work until they don't work anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And what you're saying is you're shifting the whole idea. And what excites me about what you're talking about is that you're retraining the fundamental mechanisms in our brain, so we're not fighting in a diet. We're just choosing to eat the food that's best for us.
Exactly, Greg. What you have to do is take the power back, end the struggle, stop that suffering, the yo-yo, and getting control of your life and your habits. And we get to the root of the problem, which is the subconscious conditioning. Look, if you're eating the wrong foods, it's not your fault. You've been programmed to eat that way. And so what I'm saying is, let me take you by the hand and teach you the same tools that I worked with my clients that have been just phenomenal, literally life-changing. Because when you're listening to the CDs, it's as if you're having personal coaching sessions with me. And I'm actually helping you to retrain your own brain. So it's about taking the power back so that you find yourself just making healthier choices and feeling better about yourself and changing your self-talk. Instead of feeling so defeated, Greg, like you're talking about, all of a sudden you feel empowered. You just feel really good passing up the brownies and the junk because you realize, you know what, I don't even want it anymore.
You know what I loved in your book? You talked about how many of us with food, with largely unhealthy foods, we're self-medicating.
Yes.
That many people in America are using food either to cover senses of loss or grief or loneliness. And if you train your way out of those things, those can all be left behind.
Exactly. That is such a good point. So many of us are eating as a way to fill ourselves up, that void. And there's no amount of food that can fill that up. And instead, by doing all that eating, as you know, it just creates misery. So we want to end that pattern. And we want to fill yourself up with something that's sustaining. Meaning when you go inside and you begin to connect, you begin to fill up with your own inner resources, your own strength, your own inner power, your own self-love and self-care. And you start to feel so good about yourself. You're just different in the world. And so you're able to then feel better, and your whole level of health improves mentally, physically, and emotionally. I've seen it over and over again. These techniques are proven to work, and I discovered them really because of my own struggles with my health and my weight and food. And so these CDs and this DVD and the books, the whole package together, really help you to retrain the brain, so it's just not an issue anymore.
I love that. And what is an issue, though, is that we're kind of running down to the last couple of minutes of our time together. So this may be the last moment you're thinking and you're excited about the possibility of making a major change in your health and your life. And right now you can make a lovely change and improvement in the financial health of this station by making that gift of support at $15 a month and getting this entire package coming your way. All the elements that we've been talking about, you will find in the Easy Willpower Master Package if you make that $15 a month a really investment in this service. But it ain't coming your way if you don't make that gift of support. So please do it now. You're thinking about it. You know that what Rena's talking about makes an incredible amount of sense, and it can make a big difference in your life. If you had one thing, Rena, that you wanted people to take away from today in this program, what would it be?
The one thing I would say is call the number on the screen. Get this comprehensive master package of tools that can literally help you to change your life. You don't have to struggle anymore. Now is the time. You can do this.
Rena Greenberg, thank you so much for such a great show, and thanks for helping us raise some money for public television.
It's great to be here.
And of course, we're grateful to everyone who made a contribution to this station today. Because of your generous support, we can continue to produce and present programs that truly change your life for the better. On behalf of everyone at this station and all of public television, thank you.